Dr. So-Young Park stared at her computer screen in the quiet research lab. The numbers made no sense. For 3 months she had been studying strange signals from deep space. Everyone else thought they were just cosmic noise. Random sounds from dead stars. But So-Young knew better. The patterns were too perfect, too organized. Someone or something was trying to talk to Earth. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago. The lab was empty except for her. Most scientists went home at normal hours, but So-Young could not stop working. These signals were important. She felt it in her bones. The first signal had arrived 200 years ago. Back then humans barely had computers. The message got filed away with other space noise. Nobody looked at it twice. More signals came every few years. All ignored. All forgotten. So-Young pulled up the oldest recording. The computer translated it into basic patterns, dots and lines, like Morse code but more complex. Much more complex. Across town, Admiral Hyun-Woo Kim sat in his office. Papers covered his desk. Reports about colony defenses, supply problems, fuel shortages, the usual headaches of running Earth space forces. Hyun-Woo had seen too many battles. The Martian colony wars had taken his wife and son. Now he lived only for duty, protecting what remained of humanity among the stars. His aide, Captain Min-Ho Lee, knocked on the door. "Come in, Min-Ho." "Admiral, we have those reports from the outer colonies. Nothing unusual. Some asteroid mining disputes, a few pirates near Jupiter." Hyun-Woo nodded. "The same old problems. Earth's colonies were spread too thin. Too few ships. Too few resources. If something big happened, they would be in trouble." "Thank you, Captain. Any word from the science division?" "Nothing important, sir. Dr. Park is still working on those space signals. Most people think she is wasting time." Hyun-Woo had heard about Dr. Park. Smart woman. Maybe too smart for her own good. Scientists always found patterns where none existed. Keep an eye on her work. Sometimes the things that seem unimportant turn out to matter most. Back in her lab, So-Young made a breakthrough. The signals were not random. They followed a pattern. A very specific pattern. Someone was sending the same type of message over and over, getting more urgent each time. She ran the oldest signals through her best translation program. Slowly words began to appear on screen. Not human words, but the meaning was clear. "Greetings to the people of the third planet. You are invited to join the Galactic Astral Council. Please send representatives to the following coordinates." So-Young's hands shook. Aliens. Real aliens. And they had been trying to contact Earth for 2 centuries. She pulled up more recent signals. The tone had changed. The messages were getting impatient. "This is your second invitation to join the Galactic Astral Council. Failure to attend 3 consecutive meetings will result in exclusion from galactic law protection." Her blood ran cold. She found the most recent message from just 6 months ago. "Final notice to Earth. You have missed 2 mandatory council meetings. 1 more absence will classify your species as rogue. Military containment will follow." So-Young grabbed her phone. She had to call someone. But who would believe her? Aliens wanting to meet? Earth already in trouble for not showing up to meetings nobody knew existed. She decided to call her old friend Jae-won Choi. He worked in the diplomatic corps. If anyone could help, it was him. Jae-won answered on the second ring. "So-Young, you never call this late." "What is wrong, Jae-won? I need you to come to my lab right now. And bring someone from the military. This is bigger than both of us can handle. You are scaring me, So-Young. What did you find?" "Proof that we are not alone. And proof that we are in serious trouble." An hour later, Jae-won arrived with Captain Min-Ho Lee. So-Young showed them everything. The signals. The translations. The timeline of ignored invitations. Captain Lee studied the data carefully. His military training helped him see the bigger picture. "Dr. Park, if this is real, then Earth has been marked as a rogue civilization by an entire galactic government." "That is exactly what I think happened," Jae-won said. "Look at the language in these recent messages. They are not asking anymore. They are warning." So-Young pulled up her analysis of signal origins. The messages came from different parts of the galaxy. This was not one alien species. It was many species working together. "How many civilizations are we talking about?" Captain Lee asked. "At least 40 based on the signal patterns. Maybe more." The 3 humans sat in silence. Earth had missed every important meeting with galactic civilization. Not on purpose, just through ignorance and bad timing. "We have to tell someone," Jae-won said. The government needs to know immediately. Captain Lee nodded. Admiral Kim should hear this first. He will know what to do. But So Young was still reading the data. She found something else, something that made the situation much worse. There is more, she said quietly. I'm picking up new signals. Different ones. What kind of signals? Movement patterns, ship formations. I think they are coming. The captain and diplomat looked at each other. First contact was supposed to be peaceful. Scientists meeting aliens, sharing knowledge, making friends. Instead, Earth had accidentally insulted an entire galactic civilization, missed 3 critical meetings, been classified as dangerous, and now alien fleets were moving toward human space. Dr. Park, can you tell how much time we have? So Young worked frantically with her computers. The signals were complex, but she could make estimates, based on their movement patterns and assuming faster than light travel, maybe 6 months. Maybe less. Captain Lee was already reaching for his communicator. Admiral Kim needed to know immediately. Earth had 6 months to prepare for contact with an alien alliance that already considered humans to be enemies. The irony was not lost on any of them. Humanity had spent centuries wondering if aliens existed. Now they knew the answer, and wished they did not. In 6 months, Earth would either find a way to explain the misunderstanding or face the military might of 40 alien civilizations. The age of human isolation was about to end. Whether humanity survived would depend on choices made in the next few months. So Young looked at her computer screen one more time. Somewhere among the stars, alien fleets were moving, coming to deal with the rogue species called humanity. Earth had missed every invitation to join galactic civilization. Now civilization was coming to Earth. Admiral Hyun-Woo Kim stood before the largest gathering of world leaders in human history. The emergency session had brought together presidents, prime ministers, generals, and scientists from every nation on Earth. The room buzzed with nervous energy. 3 months had passed since Dr. So-Young Park discovered the alien messages. 3 months of preparation, planning, and growing fear. Now time was running out. Captain Min-Ho Lee activated the main screen. Images of deep space appeared. Red dots marked incoming alien fleets. The dots were getting closer to Earth's outer colonies. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Kim began. We face the greatest threat in human history. These alien fleets will reach our space in less than 3 months. General Da Yun-han stood up. She commanded Earth's joint military forces. Her reputation for tactical brilliance had earned respect from every nation. Admiral Kim. What are our military options, she asked. Hyun-Woo looked grim. Our visible fleet consists of 200 nuclear-powered vessels, good for fighting pirates and colony disputes. Against 40 alien civilizations, we would last maybe an hour. Murmurs filled the room. World leaders whispered to their advisors. The math was simple and terrifying. Dr. Park stepped forward. She had been working day and night to understand more alien communications. I have been monitoring their signals, she said. The aliens call themselves the Astral Council. They have sent us one final message. The room fell silent. Everyone wanted to hear what the aliens had to say. Dr. Park activated her translation program. An artificial voice filled the room, speaking the alien words in cold English. People of Earth, you have ignored 3 invitations to join galactic civilization. You have been classified as a rogue species. However, the Astral Council offers mercy. You have 72 hours to surrender all spacefaring technology. Submit to guided development under our oversight. Refuse and face military containment. The room erupted. Leaders shouted in dozens of languages. Some demanded immediate surrender. Others called for war. Everyone was terrified. Admiral Kim raised his hand for silence. We need to make a decision quickly. But first, let me share some information most of you do not know. He nodded to Captain Lee, who brought up new images. These showed construction facilities hidden in asteroid belts. Massive shipyards that most world leaders had never seen. For 50 years, the major space powers have been secretly building advanced vessels. Not just Earth, Mars colonies, Jupiter mining stations, even the outer settlements have been contributing. General Han smiled for the first time in months. Admiral, how many ships are we actually talking about? The real number is classified. But let me say this. The aliens think we have 200 primitive vessels. They are somewhat incorrect in their assessment. A new voice interrupted the discussion. Ambassador Ji-Hai Lim had just returned from a desperate diplomatic mission to make contact with the approaching aliens. "Admiral, I tried to reach them," she said breathlessly. "I took our fastest ship to the coordinates Dr. Park provided. I found their forward station." "What happened?" Ambassador Kim asked. They would not listen. The Council Overlord called humans another aggressive species requiring domestication. He said we were too primitive to understand galactic law. She paused to catch her breath, then added the worst news of all. "They have already begun boarding operations on our outer colonies." Titan Mining Station went silent this morning. The Europa research base stopped transmitting an hour ago. The room felt deadly quiet. The aliens were not waiting for Earth's answer. They had already started their containment operations. Dr. Park checked her instruments. "More bad news, Admiral. I am detecting additional fleets. Much larger than the first wave. How many ships? At least 1,000. Maybe more. They are moving to surround our entire solar system." General Han studied the tactical displays. This was clearly a planned military operation. The aliens intended to cut off all human escape routes before making their final demands. Engineer Sung Ho Yoon raised his hand. He had been quiet during most of the meeting. As chief designer of Earth's newest technology, he rarely spoke in political gatherings. "Admiral, may I share some technical information?" "Go ahead, Seung Ho." "The aliens are using standard faster-than-light drives. Quantum tunneling engines, very efficient but predictable. Our newest ships use different technology. Dimensional folding drives." Several leaders looked confused. "General." Han asked the obvious question. "What does that mean for our tactical situation?" "It means," Seung Ho said with a slight smile, "that our ships can appear and disappear in ways the aliens cannot predict or counter. Their sensors are not designed to track dimensional fold signatures." Admiral Kim felt hope for the first time in months. The aliens had made assumptions about human technology based on the oldest visible ships. They had no idea what Earth could really do. Dr. Park interrupted with urgent news. "Admiral, I am receiving a new transmission. Very strong signal. I think it is their final ultimatum. Put it on speakers." The alien voice filled the room again. This time it sounded more threatening. "People of Earth, your time is ending. We have secured your outer territories. Surrender your homeworld immediately or watch your species face extinction. You have 24 hours to comply." The transmission ended. 1,000 alien warships surrounded the solar system. Earth had 24 hours to surrender or fight. Admiral Kim looked around the room. Every world leader was staring at him. The decision would affect every human alive. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said calmly, "I recommend we send the aliens our answer." "What answer?" General Han asked. "No." The room exploded with argument again. Some leaders demanded surrender. Others supported fighting. The debate raged for hours. Finally, Admiral Kim called for a vote. The decision was close but clear. Earth would not surrender. "Dr. Park, will you send our response to the alien fleet?" "What should I tell them, Admiral?" "Tell them that Earth declines their generous offer. Tell them we prefer to remain free." She typed the message and sent it toward the alien command ship. The response came back within minutes. "Your species has chosen extinction. Military operations begin in 6 hours. Prepare for containment." Admiral Kim stood up slowly. He looked at every person in the room. World leaders who had spent their lives fighting each other. Now they were united against a common enemy. "Ladies and gentlemen, Earth has 6 hours to show these aliens why they should have accepted our friendship instead of demanding our surrender." Activated his personal communicator and spoke a single word that would change everything. Mobius hidden. Throughout the solar system, ancient protocols activated. Ships that had been sleeping in dimensional folds began to wake up. Weapons that existed only in classified files powered up for the first time. The aliens thought they were dealing with a primitive species. They were about to learn otherwise. Deep inside a hidden asteroid facility, Dr. Taemin Kang watched thousands of lights come alive on his control panel. Each light represented a warship that had been sleeping in dimensional space for decades. Now they were all waking up. The protocol Mobius signal had reached every secret base in the solar system, from Mercury's solar forges to Pluto's ice caves. Hidden shipyards that most humans did not know existed were preparing for war. Taemin had spent 30 years working on this project. Ever since Earth discovered alien ruins on Titan 50 years ago. The ruins contained technology from a dead civilization, technology that changed everything humanity knew about space travel. Colonel Yujin Seo entered the command center. She led the Shadow Fleet's best pilots, men and women who had trained their entire lives for a war that might never come. Dr. Kang, are all systems ready, she asked. Better than ready, Colonel. We have 3,200 active vessels, all equipped with technology the aliens have never seen. Yujin smiled. The aliens thought they were fighting primitive humans with nuclear rockets. They had no idea what was really coming. Across the system, similar scenes played out. Chief Heywan Bei coordinated strategy from a command ship hidden in Jupiter's radiation belt. Her tactical genius had designed the plan they called the Eternal Loop, a strategy so complex that even Earth's best generals barely understood it. The alien fleets moved closer to Earth. Their sensors showed exactly what they expected. A few hundred human ships with basic nuclear engines, primitive weapons, no real threat to advanced alien technology. Admiral Hyunwoo Kim stood on the bridge of his flagship. Through the view screen he could see the alien formation, massive ships with energy weapons that could destroy planets. Against any normal enemy they would be unstoppable. Captain Min-Ho Lee studied the tactical display. Admiral, the alien commander is requesting our surrender one final time. Put him on screen. The alien appeared. His species looked like tall humans with blue skin and extra arms. He wore elaborate military decorations that showed his high rank in the Astral Council forces. Human Admiral, your species has chosen poorly. We offer one last chance for mercy. Surrender now and your people will live as servants under our protection. Admiral Kim looked at the alien with calm eyes. Thank you for your generous offer, but Earth must decline. Then you have doomed your species. We have 1,000 warships. You have barely 200 primitive vessels. This will not be a battle. It will be extermination. The alien cut the transmission. Immediately, the Council fleets began moving into attack formation. Their energy weapons charged up. Targeting systems locked onto human ships. Admiral Kim spoke quietly into his communicator. All units, this is Mobius Command. Execute Phase 1. Throughout the solar system, space began to ripple. Reality bent and twisted as dimensional folds opened everywhere at once. What looked like empty space suddenly filled with human warships. The alien commander watched his sensors in shock. 200 human ships had suddenly become over 3,000. But that was impossible. Where had they all come from? Colonel Yujin Seo led the first attack wave. Her ships appeared directly behind the alien formation. The aliens spun around to face this new threat. But more human ships appeared on their other flank. The human vessels looked nothing like the primitive ships the aliens expected. These were sleek predators with technology that defied known physics. They moved without visible engines. They fired weapons that seemed to ignore shields and armor. Dr. Taemin Kang monitored the battle from his hidden command center. The dimensional fold technology was working perfectly. Human ships could appear anywhere instantly. The aliens could not predict where the next attack would come from. Chief Heywan Bei watched her strategy unfold. The Eternal Loop was more than just tactics. It was psychological warfare designed to break enemy morale. Every time the aliens turned to fight one group of human ships, another group appeared somewhere else. The humans seemed to be everywhere at once, fighting from all directions simultaneously. But the real genius was what the aliens could not see. The same ships were appearing and disappearing using dimensional technology. 3,000 vessels created the impression of 10,000 through careful positioning and timing. The alien commander tried to understand what was happening. His species had fought wars across the galaxy for centuries. They had conquered dozens of worlds. But they had never seen anything like this. Human ships appeared inside his formation, fired once, then vanished before his weapons could target them. Other ships appeared behind asteroids where no ships should have been able to hide. The battle lasted only 20 minutes. Not because the humans destroyed all the alien ships, but because the aliens stopped fighting. Admiral Kim received a transmission from the alien commander. The proud warrior now sounded desperate and confused. Human Admiral, we request immediate ceasefire. How many ships do you possess? Admiral Kim considered his answer carefully. Our current fleet numbers are classified information. We detect vessels throughout your entire system. Impossible numbers of vessels. Our intelligence reports were clearly wrong about your capabilities. Dr. Park monitored alien communications from Earth. The enemy fleets were sending panic messages back to their homeworlds. They described fighting against endless waves of human ships. ships that could appear from nowhere and vanish just as quickly. The psychological effect was exactly what Chief Bay had planned. The aliens now believed Earth commanded a military force beyond their ability to defeat. More alien fleets arrived as reinforcements. But instead of attacking, they maintained careful distance. Their commanders studied the strange human technology and reported back to the Astral Council. Within hours, reports spread through Council space. Earth was not a primitive world with a few nuclear ships. It was an advanced military power that could deploy vessels anywhere instantly. Some alien species panicked. If humans could make fleets appear from nothing, what stopped them from attacking Council worlds? The reports described human ships materializing in impossible numbers. Fear spread faster than facts. By the end of the day, most of the galaxy believed Earth controlled the largest fleet in known space. Admiral Kim received a new transmission. This time it came directly from the Astral Council's Supreme Assembly. Admiral Kim of Earth. We may have made an error in our assessment of your species. We request immediate diplomatic contact. Admiral Kim smiled. The aliens who had threatened to exterminate humanity now wanted to talk. Tell them I will consider their request, he said to Captain Lee. But first they must withdraw all military forces from our system. The alien fleets began pulling back within hours. News of Earth's impossible military capabilities had reached the highest levels of Council government. Admiral Kim looked out at the stars. 50 years of secret preparation had worked. The aliens thought Earth controlled tens of thousands of warships when the real number was barely 3,000. But 3,000 ships with dimensional technology had proven enough. The galaxy's most powerful military alliance was retreating from a species they had planned to exterminate. The age of human weakness was over. Captain Dong Hyun. Oh, watched the temporal readouts on his command screen. His ship existed in 3 different time states simultaneously. Past, present, and future overlapped in ways that made his head hurt to think about. The loop was the most ambitious military strategy ever attempted. Not just by humans, but by any species in the galaxy. It used time itself as a weapon. Dr. Yoonji Song had spent 5 years perfecting the quantum mechanics that made it possible. Her breakthrough came from studying captured alien technology, combined with the ancient ruins found on Titan. Admiral, we are ready to begin Phase 2, she reported to Admiral Kim. The alien reinforcement. Fleets had arrived expecting a normal battle. Instead, they found something that broke every rule of space warfare they knew. Lieutenant Woo Jin Nam was young but brilliant. Fresh from the academy, he had suggested using enemy psychology against them. His idea became the foundation for the entire loop strategy. Admiral, the aliens are creatures of pattern, he had explained months ago. Their entire civilization is built on predictable outcomes. If we can make our fleet appear unpredictable, it will terrify them more than superior weapons. Now that theory was being tested on a galactic scale. The new alien fleets jumped into the solar system, expecting to find the human ships they had heard about. Instead, they found something impossible. Everywhere they looked, human vessels patrolled in perfect formations. Not just hundreds of ships, not just thousands. The formations seemed to stretch infinitely in all directions. The alien commanders studied their sensors carefully. The readings made no sense. Human ships appeared to be patrolling the same space routes repeatedly, but from different time periods. Captain O explained the effect to his crew. We are creating temporal echoes. Our patrol routes exist in multiple time streams. When the aliens scan a sector, they see our ships from yesterday, today, and tomorrow all at once. The psychological impact was immediate. Alien crews reported seeing human fleets that numbered in the hundreds of thousands. Ship formations that appeared to go on forever. Dr. Song monitored the temporal fields from her science vessel. The loop was holding stable. 3,000 human ships were creating sensor signatures that suggested over 50,000 vessels. But the real genius was in the details. Every time an alien fleet tried to engage the humans, they found themselves fighting ships that seemed to know their every move in advance. Chief Haewon Bay had programmed the tactical computers to use future information from the temporal loops. Human ships could predict enemy movements because they had already fought the same battles in different time streams. The alien commanders became increasingly frustrated. How could humans anticipate every tactical decision? How did they always know exactly where to position their forces? Lieutenant Nam suggested adding random elements to make the effect even more disturbing. Sometimes human ships would arrive at battle locations before the aliens had even decided to go there. The loop created the illusion that Earth possessed not just infinite ships, but infinite knowledge. The humans seemed to exist everywhere and know everything. Admiral Kim received desperate communications from multiple alien fleets. Commanders who had conquered entire star systems were begging for guidance on how to fight an enemy that existed in all time periods simultaneously. Dr. Park translated the alien messages for Earth's leadership. The enemy fleets are reporting impossible human capabilities. They believe we can see the future and control time itself. The reports reaching the Astral Council painted an even more terrifying picture. Human ships that appeared from nowhere, battles where the humans won before fighting even began, fleets that seemed to number in the millions. Some alien species began abandoning their territories without being attacked. Reports described human patrol fleets everywhere. Council worlds that had never seen a human ship started preparing for invasion. The panic spread faster than any physical fleet could travel. Within weeks, the entire galaxy knew about Earth's impossible military power. Captain O watched as another alien fleet retreated from the solar system. They had not fired a single shot. The mere sight of the infinite human formations had been enough to break their will to fight. "This is beautiful," he said to Dr. Song. "We are not actually fighting them. We are making them fight their own fears." The loop strategy worked because it targeted the alien psychology perfectly. Every species in the council was used to understanding their enemies. Clear numbers, predictable technology, logical tactics. Against humans, they found chaos they could not analyze. Ship numbers that made no mathematical sense, technology that seemed to violate the laws of physics, tactics that appeared to use impossible knowledge. Lieutenant Nam reported the latest intelligence from Council space. "Admiral, entire sectors are surrendering to us without resistance. They think human fleets are approaching their worlds. But we have not sent any ships outside the solar system," Admiral Kim pointed out. "That is correct, sir. They are surrendering to fleets that exist only in their imagination." The psychological warfare had become completely self-sustaining. Fear of human capabilities was spreading through the galaxy faster than any actual human expansion. Dr. Song detected unusual quantum signatures from the direction of Council space. "Admiral, I think they are trying to copy our temporal technology. Can they succeed?" "No, sir. The loop requires understanding of principles they have never encountered. They are trying to reverse engineer magic using conventional science. The alien attempts to duplicate human technology only made the situation worse for them. Their experiments created temporal distortions that their sensors interpreted as even more human ships. Soon the Council was detecting human fleets in sectors where no humans had ever traveled. Their own failed experiments were creating the sensor ghosts they feared most. Admiral Kim realized the loop had achieved something beyond military victory. Earth had become a galactic legend, a species so advanced that other civilizations could not even understand their technology. The reports from Council space painted humanity as masters of time and space. Beings who could make fleets appear from nothing and predict all possible futures. Captain O suggested they could probably conquer the entire galaxy without leaving the solar system. Just let the aliens defeat themselves with their own panic. But Admiral Kim had a different idea. Earth had proven its strength. Now it was time to show the galaxy something even more powerful than infinite fleets. He opened a channel to the Astral, Council Supreme. "Assembly, this is Admiral Kim of Earth. We have demonstrated our military capabilities. Now we wish to discuss peace." The response came within hours. The entire council wanted to meet with the species that controlled infinite time and space. Earth had won the war without really fighting it. Now came the harder challenge of winning the peace. Ambassador Kyung-Soo Jung had never seen anything like the Astral Council chamber. Representatives from 47 different alien species filled the massive hall. Some breathed oxygen, others required special environmental suits. A few existed as pure energy beings floating in containment fields. All of them were terrified of the human sitting calmly at the central negotiating table. Jung had been chosen for this mission because of his reputation for impossible negotiations. He had ended 3 major wars through pure diplomatic skill. But this was different. This time he held all the cards. Counselor In Ho Shin sat beside him as Earth's military representative. The former admiral turned politician understood both warfare and diplomacy. His job was to make sure the aliens understood exactly what humanity could do. The Council's supreme leader was a tall, crystalline being that communicated through harmonic vibrations. Its words were translated by the Chamber's universal systems. Representative Jung, your species has demonstrated capabilities that disturb the natural order of galactic civilization. We must understand your intentions. Jung smiled politely. Earth's intentions are simple. We want peace, cooperation, and mutual respect among all galactic species. Murmurs filled the chamber. Several alien delegates looked confused. Species with infinite military power usually wanted conquest, not cooperation. But first Jung continued, we need to address some misunderstandings. Earth never intended to ignore your invitations. We simply did not recognize them as such. The crystalline leader vibrated with what the translators identified as skepticism. You claim your vast fleets were built accidentally. Not accidentally, Jung replied. But not for conquest either. We built them for defense against unknown threats. He activated a holographic display showing long-range sensor data that even the Council had missed. Deep space signatures indicating massive movements beyond the galactic rim. Earth detected signs of extragalactic activity 50 years ago. We prepared for the possibility of invasion from outside our galaxy. The chamber fell silent. The Council's most advanced species studied the sensor data with growing alarm. None of them had detected these signatures. Councillor Shin stood up to address the military implications. Our fleets were designed to defend the entire galaxy, not just Earth. We recognized that threats from outside would endanger all civilizations. A delegate from the warrior species called the Krathen demanded proof. If humans possess such advanced technology, why offer to share it? Jung had prepared for this question. Because isolation makes everyone weaker. The coming threat will require all galactic species working together. Admiral Ye Jin Quan entered the chamber carrying classified reports from Earth's deep space monitoring stations. With the Council's permission, she activated the main display system. The images showed massive geometric structures approaching from intergalactic space. Ships larger than moons moving in formations that stretched across star systems. These objects will reach the galactic rim in approximately 18 months, Quan announced. Our analysis suggests they are not natural phenomena. The Council chamber erupted in dozens of different languages. Species that had fought each other for centuries suddenly faced a common enemy that dwarfed all their previous conflicts. The crystalline leader called for order. Human Admiral, what do you know about these intruders? Very little, Admiral Quan admitted. They use technology completely different from anything in our databases. But we know they have destroyed at least 3 galaxies in the local cluster. Jung seized the moment to present Earth's proposal. The human race offers to share our defensive technology with all Council species. In return, we ask only for recognition as equals in galactic civilization. The offer was more generous than anyone had expected. Species with infinite fleets usually demanded tribute and submission. Humans were offering protection and partnership. But the Vegan delegate raised obvious concerns. How do we know this threat is real? Perhaps humans created these images to manipulate us. Dr. So-Young Park stepped forward. She had been monitoring communications throughout the galaxy since arriving with the Earth delegation. Counselors, we have been intercepting signals from the intergalactic objects. Would you like to hear them? The Council agreed. Dr. Park activated her translation system. The alien signals were unlike anything in galactic databases. Cold mechanical voices speaking about harvest schedules and resource processing. The intruders were not coming to communicate. They were coming to strip the galaxy of all useful materials and life forms. Jung watched the Council delegates absorb this information. Fear was replacing confusion. The infinite human fleet suddenly seemed like salvation instead of threat. Counselor Shin presented the military reality. Earth's dimensional technology can create defensive barriers around entire star systems, but only if we work together to implement them. The warrior species began asking technical questions. How many ships would be needed? What kind of coordination was required? Could the technology be adapted to their existing fleets? Admiral Quan provided honest answers. The defense of the galaxy would require unprecedented cooperation. Species that had been enemies for millennia would need to trust each other completely. Jung sensed the moment for his final diplomatic move. Earth proposes a new structure for galactic civilization, not the old Council system based on individual species dominance. A true alliance where every civilization contributes its unique strengths. The crystalline leader considered this proposal. You suggest humans would lead this alliance, not lead, Jung corrected. Coordinate. Our temporal technology allows us to manage complex multi-species operations, but every major decision would require consensus from all members. The chamber buzzed with discussion. Alien delegates huddled in species groups debating the human proposal. Some were suspicious. Others were desperate for protection against the approaching threat. Finally, the Krathan war leader stood up. His species had conquered dozens of worlds through military might, but even they could not fight enemies that harvested entire galaxies. The Krathan will accept human coordination, but we demand proof that this defense technology actually works. Jung nodded to Admiral Kwan. Show them the Jupiter demonstration. The main display switched to live footage from Earth's solar system. Human ships were creating a dimensional barrier around Jupiter, using the same technology that powered the loop. The massive planet simply vanished from normal space. Sensors could detect nothing where Jupiter had been. Then the ships deactivated the barrier, and the planet reappeared exactly where it belonged. We can hide entire star systems from the intruders, Jung explained. Make them invisible until the threat passes, or until we develop better weapons. The demonstration convinced even the most skeptical delegates. Technology that could make planets disappear was clearly beyond anything the Council possessed. One by one, the alien species agreed to the new alliance. Not because they loved humanity, but because they needed Earth's protection against an even greater threat. The Astral Council voted to dissolve itself and create the Galactic Defense Alliance, with Earth as the coordinating power. Humanity had achieved something no species in galactic history had ever accomplished. They had won complete victory without firing a shot in anger. Jung stood to address the new alliance. Together we will preserve galactic civilization. The intruders expect to find scattered species fighting each other. Instead, they will face unified resistance using technology they cannot understand. As the delegates filed out to inform their governments, Jung reflected on the irony. Earth had accidentally become the galaxy's protector by preparing for threats that turned out to be real. The species that missed every invitation to join civilization had just become civilization's leader. But the real test was still coming. In 18 months, the galaxy would discover whether human promises of protection were as effective as human threats of war. Grand Admiral Subin Kim stood on the bridge of humanity's newest command vessel, watching the edge of the galaxy burn. The intruders had arrived 3 months early. Their harvest fleets were already consuming entire star systems on the galactic rim. Subin was Admiral Hyunwoo Kim's daughter. She had grown up hearing stories about the old wars against pirates and colony rebels. Those conflicts seemed like children's games compared to what approached the galaxy now. Dr. Chan-Woo Park worked frantically at his science station. Like his mother, Dr. So-Young Park, he could see patterns others missed. The patterns he saw now terrified him. Admiral, the intruders are not just harvesting resources. They are harvesting the fundamental forces that hold matter together. They are unmaking reality itself. Fleet Captain Bo-Ra Lee commanded the integrated human-alien strike force that represented the galaxy's last hope. Her ships included vessels from 30 different species, all using modified human dimensional technology. The enemy we face is not from our universe, Bo-Ra reported. Their ships exist partially outside normal spacetime. Most of our weapons pass right through them without causing damage. Subin studied the tactical displays showing the approaching harvest fleets. Each enemy vessel was larger than Earth's moon. There were thousands of them moving in formations that defied three-dimensional thinking. The Galactic Defense Alliance had achieved miracles in 18 months. Human dimensional technology had been adapted to dozens of different alien ship designs. Former enemies now fought side by side with perfect coordination. But none of it seemed enough against entities that could reach into reality and turn off the laws of physics. Dr. Park made a breakthrough while analyzing captured enemy transmissions. Admiral, I understand their technology now. They do not exist in normal space. They project themselves here from a higher dimensional framework. That explains why our weapons are ineffective, Subin said. But how do we fight enemies we cannot properly touch? The loop strategy, Admiral. We use temporal warfare to attack them across multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Subin activated the Alliance communication network. Every ship in the galaxy received her transmission at the same instant regardless of distance. All Allied vessels. This is Defense Command. Execute Protocol Infinite Loop. All dimensions, all timelines, all possible realities. What followed was the most complex military operation in galactic history. Human temporal technology created thousands of parallel battle scenarios. Each Alliance ship fought the same battle in dozens of different dimensional states. The effect on the intruders was immediate and devastating. Entities that existed partially outside reality suddenly found themselves being attacked from directions that did not exist in their dimensional framework. Captain Bo-Ra, Lee led the multi-species assault force against the largest harvest vessel. Her mixed crew of humans, Krathan, and crystalline beings worked together with perfect precision. The enemy ship tried to phase out of normal space to avoid damage. But human temporal fields locked it into a single-dimensional state where Alliance weapons could affect it. For the first time in their existence, the intruders experienced something they had never encountered. Genuine resistance from species that could fight across multiple realities simultaneously. Dr. Park monitored the enemy communications as their coordination began breaking down. "They are trying to retreat, Admiral, but our temporal barriers are preventing them from returning to their home dimension." The battle raged across 17 different dimensional states for 6 hours. Alliance vessels appeared and disappeared through reality, attacking harvest fleets that had never faced opposition before. Subin watched as one massive enemy vessel simply stopped functioning. Its reality manipulation systems could not cope with attacks coming from dimensions it could not perceive. The surviving intruders attempted a final desperate strategy. They tried to unmake the entire galaxy by dissolving the fundamental forces that held it together. Alliance ships immediately moved to counter this threat. Human dimensional barriers protected star systems, while alien vessels with modified loop technology attacked the intruders' reality manipulation devices. The combined fleet of the galaxy fought as a single organism. Species that had been enemies for thousands of years coordinated their attacks with perfect timing. Human temporal technology allowed real-time communication across the entire battlefield. Captain Bo-Ra Lee achieved the impossible by leading a strike force directly into the intruders' command vessel. Her mixed crew fought through reality distortions that would have destroyed any single species. The intruders discovered that galactic civilization had evolved beyond their ability to harvest. Instead of scattered primitive species, they faced unified advanced technology that could match their own reality manipulation. Dr. Park detected the moment when the enemy finally broke. "Admiral, they are retreating back to intergalactic space. Our dimensional barriers are holding. They cannot unmake the galaxy while our temporal fields are active." The harvest fleets that had consumed 3 other galaxies fled from the unified resistance they found here. For the first time in their existence, they had encountered species advanced enough to fight back effectively. Subin opened communication channels to every world in the galaxy. "Citizens of all species, this is Grand Admiral Kim. The intruder threat has been neutralized. The galaxy is secure." The celebration that followed lasted for months. Species that had never cooperated before realized they had achieved something greater than any individual civilization could manage alone. But the real victory was not military. The galaxy had learned to function as a single entity, while preserving the uniqueness of each member species. Fleet Captain Bo-Ra Lee became the first commander of the permanent Galactic Defense Force. Her mixed crews proved that diversity made the Alliance stronger, not weaker. Dr. Park established the new Dimensional Research Institute, where scientists from all species worked together to understand reality itself. The knowledge gained from fighting the intruders opened possibilities none of them had imagined. Earth had become the galaxy's coordinator, not through conquest, but through protection. Human temporal technology provided the framework that allowed unprecedented cooperation between different forms of life. Subin reflected on how far humanity had come. Her grandfather's generation had fought wars over single planets. Her father had defended the solar system from alien invasion. She had helped save an entire galaxy from extra-dimensional predators, the species that had missed every invitation to join galactic civilization, had become the foundation that held it together. But perhaps that was always humanity's role, not to lead through dominance, but to enable cooperation through innovation, not to conquer the galaxy, but to protect it from threats beyond imagination. The intruders would return eventually. Other threats would emerge from the vast darkness between galaxies. But now the galaxy was ready. Millions of species working together using technology that transcended the limitations of individual civilizations, united not by force but by the shared recognition that survival required cooperation. The age of isolated civilizations was over. The age of galactic unity had begun, and at the center of it all stood humanity. The species that had arrived last but whose unique gifts had made all the difference. Earth had missed every invitation to join civilization. But in the end, Earth had saved civilization itself.